Okay, so we went ahead and updated this page. You can see it's just a very quick coming soon page because we personally are in the middle of a migration. If you have a form that's already good to go with your domain and all that good stuff, you can go ahead and do that. But for us, we're in the middle of a migration. We don't have our websites, funnels, everything over yet. So we're going to go ahead and do the coming soon page. We have our form here. Remember, phone number is not required. We have our two separate opt-in boxes. Both are required. One is for promotional, one is for transactional, both with our number listed on how to opt out or receive help. Both has our business name as well as our DBA listed. And then we also have privacy policy and terms of service listed here as well. So we're going to go ahead and save. Also, SEO metadata is filled out. So remember, that is super important. We have to have our SEO metadata filled out. I'm going to go in here and just make sure the domain. So you can see I went ahead and added a subdomain because our core domain is currently pointed towards our regular website. We have a subdomain. Now, if you're doing it this way and using a subdomain, it's very important that if you have forms on your website and or you don't have your privacy policy terms of use linked, you want to check that website because they will occasionally reduce the subdomain, go to your core domain and check that as well. So make sure you have terms of use and privacy policy linked and compliant, as well as any forms on your website are going to be updated and compliant to match what we just set up in this circumstance. So now that we have all of these assets kind of built out, we can go ahead and get ready to submit our actual A2P registration. So we'll come down here to settings, and then phone numbers is somewhere right here. And you can see I'll have this big red message. Your A2P 10 DLC registration is incomplete / failed. So we're going to come over here into the first thing I'm going to do actually is go ahead. I'll copy this so I have it readily available. And then I'll usually go ahead and duplicate the tab because I'm going to need to reference that number a couple more times throughout this process. So then we're going to come over to our trust center. And you can see that we are totally unverified, brand is unverified, campaign is unverified. So we're going to go ahead and start registering now. This is incredibly important. You must, I would highly recommend it. Have your EIN or BN9 document in front of you when you are filling this out. If anything is not an exact match to that document, you are going to fail. So that really is the most important part, just making sure that you have your information in front of you and can directly copy and paste that into this area. So go ahead and answer your questions. Is your business entity, your registry located US or Canada? Yes. Yes, the business has a tax ID. Okay, so our legal business name is Meliora Media LLC. I'm not adding our DBA because that is not on our EIN paperwork. Now, one thing I want to note, everything inside of your settings and business profile is going to be pulled in. So for example, this is not our correct street address. I need to go ahead and update that. So I'm going to view all of this information and just ensure it matches with our EIN information. Make sure you do have an authorized representative filled out. Make sure you have your EIN or DN or BN9 in here. And then ensure that all of this matches your registration information. Then go back into your A2P. I'm going to do that really quick and we'll be right back. All right, our information is updated. So we're come back into Trust Center. Start registering now. We can continue. All of this is correct. You can see I did DBA, the funnel flippers. Keep in mind, actually, I'm going to take this out because that is not on our registration documents. So one thing I want to note, if you have multiple lines of information in your EIN registration, you must put everything there. So 1 minute. So in ours, for example, it says Meliora Media And then line number 2 is Samantha Raby, member. So I am adding everything exactly as it is inside of our EIN registration document. Okay, we are US and Canada. Continue. All of this is good. Contact info. So let me grab Sammy's phone number. Actually, I have it here somewhere. Please do not use this to spam Sammy. I would greatly appreciate it. We'll probably go and delete that part. All right, continue. All right, so most people are going to be low volume standard. You can kind of read what the requirements are over here. High volume standard is going to have some different requirements. So most people are going to send low volume standard, which is up to 6,000 segments per day. Segments is like, have you ever seen those texts that come through in like multiple units or multiple texts because they're too long? Each one is a segment. So it's essentially one quote unquote text, depending on length, is included in that 6,000. We're going to go ahead and do continue. This is where most people screw up. And I am telling you, take your time here, please. So one very, very important note, I've seen this a number of times, is where people try to use custom values inside of this area or custom fields. It does not work. You cannot use short codes in this area. It does not work. You have to physically type in your company name, company phone number, etc. So we're going to go ahead and do the example. Okay, so this is actually pretty stinking accurate for us. I'm going to go ahead and paste that one in, and then we're going to update this campaign since appointment, confirmation messages, appointment with, see how it says company name? A lot of people forget to do this. So we're going to do Meliora Media LLC, and then I'm going to line the funnel flippers. I am adding our DBA in every single message as needed. This is bad, programmer on the website, and opted in to receive promotional notification from, again, Media LLC, the funnel flippers at, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste in our phone number that we just grabbed. Okay, sample message number 1. Okay, this is an appointment reminder, which would be pretty typical for us. You don't have to change like the names, that's fine, but you do have to continue replacing your company name and including any DBA. So company name, You want to change the phone number. Again, so many people forget this step. That's why I said just go ahead and have that open. Make sure you always include your +1. Don't unsubscribe at any time. That's just a personal preference. Stop to, and then I'm going to paste the phone number again. You cannot reference it too much in these. Sample message 2. Okay, I'm going to say, hey, Copy this again. I'm glad I did because I see a mistake. Yeah, just take your time here and make sure you're really completing all of the information to the best of your ability. Would you like to reschedule? Place that 2. Again, I'm going to add in the phone number. I want to reference that phone number and make sure it is as clear as possible to opt out and stop receiving messages and or get help. 9 times out of 10, you're only going to need these 2. Message will include an embedded link. Messages will include phone numbers. This is going to be for, I don't even know how to describe this. It's going to be for basically prohibited content. So we're talking about illegal substances, pew-pews, things that violate guidelines that you are not allowed to use these types of phone numbers for. So if you're checking these, I have absolutely no input there. But 9 times out of 10, you're only going to need these 2. Also direct lending and loan arrangements, they're going to need another kind of layer of that too. How to contact leads, consent to receive messages. So we're going to bring this in. Okay, and I'm going to start by replacing the phone number. Whoops. Let's go ahead and replace our phone number. Um, Actually, I'm going to take this out because I don't have a workflow that is going to enable them to receive text messages from us. There is no workflow that they can opt into that will allow them to start receiving messages because 90% of these for us are going to be transactional. They're going to be appointment notifications. Hey, your payment's overdue. Hey, let's go ahead and get a meeting on the books. Things like that. Or here's the link to book a meeting. Whatever that might be, they're going to be mainly transactional. And I don't want people randomly, just texting start and not getting anything or whatever that might be. So end users opt in, filling their details, users check up. This is where it gets important. I want you to go in and update this because it's not a box anymore. This is specifically users check. I never know how to spell separate, so don't judge me. Separate boxes to receive transactional notifications. Transactional notifications and or promotional messages to provide their consent. Beautiful. Okay. Users can opt out at any time by texting stop. I literally add the opt out everywhere just because I want them to know I am so serious. So serious about this. Okay, then we're going to come back and go ahead and grab that link to that funnel we literally just created. Just hello@frontflippers.com/coming soon. We're going to verify one more time that it works. That looks great. Okay, so then I'm going to come in here and replace this company text. Okay, that looks perfect. And then we're going to have an opt-in message. So we'll go ahead and paste that in here. And again, you have to replace the company name. So this is going to be the exact same thing as we've been doing. Regular name, DBA name. Okay, and then we're going to come back once again. Actually, I have the phone number up here. I don't want that period. All right, so we're going to copy that phone number to always make sure they know exactly where to opt out. Very, very, very important. If you are saying they can text stop to opt out, so yeah, there are some already built kind of gateways in here that will turn on do not disturb and all those things. I highly recommend going ahead and building out workflows that will act as a fail-safe. So building out workflows that if they text stop or quit or spam or something like that, they will be put on do not disturb for text messages. Workflows that when they do fill out that form, they get a welcome message and it must have your opt-out language. So get familiar with what the requirements are for texting your people, please. And then there's a help line. So anything you're saying you're doing in here, make sure you're actually doing. That is very, very important. Make sure you're not texting people that have not confirmed consent. That could get you in hot water later. I'm not an attorney. I don't want to get into that. But please ensure that you are actually obtaining consent before blasting out messages just because you have people's phone numbers. All right, we're going to go ahead and submit. Now, one very important note I want to let you know is that the campaign registration, or I'm sorry, brand registration is done via a bot. So that is automatic. If your information matches exactly what is on your EIN, 9 times out of 10, you are going to be approved. There is a little bit of a bug. This is as of July of 21, where some phone numbers are coming back automatically denying brand. Best way to fix that, ditch the number, get a new number. Not sure why it's happening, but if you are seeing that, it could be just a glitch on the phone number. And if you get a new one, you can usually proceed through it really quickly. Campaign is where humans are going to be physically reviewing all of the information you provided, but also checking your website links and forms and things for compliance. So make sure everything is compliant on your subdomain that you're providing, if you're providing a subdomain, and on your main domain. Even if you are providing like the contact page of your website, if you have 4 other forms on your website that have a phone number field, make sure those are compliant as well. It does matter. Also, again, verify privacy policy, terms of use, both have SMS conditions listed. Those are required. And then if it does happen to fail in campaign, generally it's going to give you a reason. So you'll get a notice when you come in here. It'll say, hey, like this is failed, kind of like what we had now. When we come see how it said incomplete failed, it'll show you that too if it actually does fail. And then when you come here and it'll give you an option to kind of hover and give you a little more information. If you run into that, feel free to reach out. We'll help you in any way you can. And I hope we can get A2Ps approved very quickly. I'll see you in the next one.